Another very important element to an after-school program is who's there. What are the adults? What are the other, maybe not so young, but still young people? Who's going to be in that space when they first arrive after school? And one of the essential elements is a positive relationship. So what does that mean? Warm and welcoming. One of the things that I always recommended is to get to know the names of every single young person and every single adult who comes into that space. I can't tell you how many times I've heard parents and guardians or babysitters or ed tech people who show up with young people and they feel ignored. Remember, all of them are important into coming into this space. So when they come in the door, how do you assess their needs? Do they need something to eat? And what would you be offering them if so? So to be careful not to provide too many sugary snacks or snacks that are going to hype them up, but to give them an array of healthy snacks. And as we all know, sitting around a table is a perfect time to begin to ask a young person questions. Less probing questions, I would say. Questions like, so what was your favorite thing you did today? So when you were walking here to school or when you were on your way to school, what did you notice? What's your favorite food, by the way? Those kinds of questions oftentimes will lead to other conversations. And then if you have a variety of young people, which I have often had, they need exercise. They need to move around, they need to relax, they need to not talk about academics right away. They just need to blow off some steam. I became a really good pool player when I worked in an after-school program. And I have to say, during an activity was when I got the most information. So when I was not looking at them directly, when I was eyeing my cue ball up to hit an 8-ball, what were the kinds of questions I would ask them? Usually it was, so how are you doing today anyway? And I was oftentimes surprised at what I heard. That's when family issues came out. That's when their insecurities came out. That's when their questions about life began to emerge. So it was a great way for me to hear about what they were thinking about and what they were concerned about. We even got into politics. We got into horse racing. I mean, I didn't know where the conversation would go sometimes, but it was a good way to finally ground them in making that transition from school to after school. And then once they get some of their energy out, once they get some of their conversations out, they're better focused. That's when I would bring them to the table where they could do some of their homework, or if we were doing some skill-based activities, we would provide time for that. So think about the variety of activities you're going to do, how you're going to talk with them, because a positive relationship is one of the most powerful things you can offer to a young person. So an activity I would like to suggest for you right now is to take out a sheet of paper, just an 8x11 sheet of paper and a pen, a pencil, whatever you have to write on. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes or you can just stare at the paper in front of you. Because I want you to think about the people in your life that provided that safety net for you. Who was that positive relationship in your life? So write down as those names come to you. It might be a teacher, it might be a grandmother, it might be a dog. Oftentimes they're not human, our greatest companions. So write the names, as many as come to you. And look at that list and circle one. Just one name for this moment in time, because it may change tomorrow. But for just now, circle that one name. Turn your paper over. Write the name of that person on the top of the sheet of paper. So when you look at that name, write down the ways in which you know that that person thought of you as the most important person in the world. What did that person say? What did that person do for you? And just write some of those qualities down now. And begin to paint the picture of who was there for you. And begin to realize or begin to look at the ways in which perhaps you have integrated some of that. Now, I'm aware, and I have heard, that there are people who are in this field that don't feel like they had anybody in their lives, that they didn't have that special person that encouraged them. But you had something. You had somewhere, something inside of you that kept you going. And it brought you to this place where you too want to reach out and to help others. So if a person or a non-sentient being doesn't come to you, then begin to think of the ways in which you learned. What would you give to someone in order for them to feel that they're the most important person in the world?